I'd like to invite Asia Gibson back up to introduce our keynote speaker.
It's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Kimberly Green Reeves. Ms. Green Reeves has been with Beacon Health System since 2012. There, she serves as the Director of Community Impact, where she is responsible for leading multi-county teams responsible for overseeing and coordinating health outreach within the Beacon Hospital network of St. Joseph, Bremen, and Elkhart, and soon will take on responsibility of Three Rivers Health in St. Joseph, Michigan. Through her leadership, Kimberly ensures there are effective, equitable, and sustainable models and processes in place to prevent disease and promote health in communities. She manages collaborative work with nonprofit organizations who are committed to improving health outcomes throughout the region. Kimberly received a Bachelor's of Arts degree from Holy Cross College, Notre Dame, and received a Master's of Public Affairs Health Administration's degree from Indiana University of South Bend. She currently serves on the boards of directors for Oaklawn, the Regional Community Mental Health Center, and United Way of St. Joseph County. She also serves on the African American Community Fund Committee through the Community Foundation of St. Joseph County, and the Indiana 211 Advisory Board with the Family and Social Service Administration. She is a member of the public service sorority Delta Sigma Theta. Ms. Green Reeves, her excellence has been recognized by the Michiana 40 Under 40 class of 2019 for her leadership both at work and in the community. She also was awarded the 2020 Leadership Award from the City of South Bend. She and her husband Steve have 3 wonderful daughters. She is excited about the opportunity to do meaningful work across the Michiana region that embraces the fundamentals of trauma-informed care and health equity while addressing disparities in care, all in an effort to create self-healing and resilient communities. I've had the honor of working with Ms. Green Reeves for the past 2 academic years. I've witnessed her work seamlessly across sectors to bring community collaborators to the table. Ms. Green Reeves is able to fuse her education and her life experience to inspire her teams to use their expertise and resources and drive community health systems to get at the root of some of our most complicated outcomes surrounding social correlates of health. She is not only brilliant and a proven leader, but patient, kind, and compassionate, a constant light for our region. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Kimberly Green Reeves.
Thank you, Asia. I feel a little emotional. She's gonna make me cry before I give the speech. But I am so proud of you and all of you as well. I would like to thank Dr. Nancy Michael, Director of Undergraduate Studies of Neuroscience and Behavior, for this opportunity, and the Neuroscience and Behavior Department, as well as the College of Science, for having me. When Dr. Michael asked me to speak, I had a whole inner dialogue with myself to try to hype myself up. I couldn't believe that she would bestow such an honor upon me, and she doesn't know it, but I had a whole conversation that she was a part of in my mind. It went something like, Nancy, are you sure? And I get to call her Nancy outside of work when we're not in public places. I said, Nancy, are you sure you want me to do this? I said, because they're smart students and their families. And she says, Kimberly, well, you're smart. And I said, I know, Nancy, but they're smart. But nevertheless, I am so honored to be here today. I'm very excited. To all the parents and influential people who contributed to the success of the graduates today, thank you. And on behalf of your students, because I am privileged to have the microphone at this moment, and I do believe they would agree with me, they are so grateful for you. And to my colleagues who are present, who have had another privilege of working alongside in the community, thank you for all that you do. And finally, to you, dear graduates, what an accomplishment. Through the blood, sweat, and tears, the ups and downs, the joys and sorrows, the peace and chaos, the togetherness and isolation, the love and heartbreak, the COVID, and oh yes, more COVID, all leading up to this moment right here. The feeling of accomplishment and excitement. Congratulations, graduates. This moment right now is for you. Ironically, around this date, in May 2019, I had an experience that made an almost indescribable impression on my life, and I am forever changed. Roughly 2 years prior, Beacon Health System was approached by then Mayor Pete Buttigieg's office to partner on a White House initiative called My Brother's Keeper. By way of organized focus groups, community members got together and chose to work on 3 milestones determined crucial for the success of youth and young adults. With a desire to do meaningful impact, they chose getting a healthy start and entering school ready to learn, keeping kids on track and giving them second chances, and successfully entering the workforce. With the charge upon us, we set out to achieve great things. We gathered and synthesized our data to build a business case and establish a starting point. We identified organizations with not only resources, but access points to guarantee engagement. We set up network meet and greets. We even provided small grant opportunities to build capacity to address social gaps, such as transportation and food insecurity. We were on our way. We got to the point where we wanted to establish our own program focused on mentorship and reducing violence. Key organizations came to the table to support it financially for up to 2 years, including our own organizations, United Way, South Bend Community School Corporation, the Education Foundation, and your very own University of Notre Dame, all for a grand total of, wait for it, $40,000. Now, while that might seem small compared to the investments and donations Notre Dame is used to making, we're pretty proud of how everyone came together to support community programming that wasn't simply evidence-based, but instead the best fit at the right time. And yet, after all of that, we were missing a key element. We realized not once had we engaged the individuals we were hoping to help. So with a couple of emails and a phone call to confirm our visit, myself and the Director of Community Engagement from the Mayor's Office found ourselves on unfamiliar territory at the Juvenile Justice Center, also known as the JJC, which is a detention center that deals with crimes committed by minors, usually between the ages of 10 and 18. Before entering the secured pod with the youth, we were given a heads up that the group was a bit on edge due to some infighting. However, they were just finishing up with Bible study, so they should be a little bit calmer now. I remember thinking in that moment, albeit a little nervous, ooh, thank you, Jesus. That next hour spent with the young men was getting to know their story, not what they were there for, but who they were. Most talked about their mother or siblings. Others shared about their upbringing. There was a point in the discussion where I wanted to probe a little deeper. So I asked the group, what does being successful look like for you? To our surprise, they were excited to share. Their responses ranged from a professional ball player, a nice job that would support their mother and siblings, a really nice house, a car. They wanted the American dream. There was one young man in particular who answered this question thoughtfully. He took a long sigh and said, "You know, my mom did the best that she could for me and my sisters and brother. She saw me struggling, so she found someone for me to talk with. She was trying to do the right thing." He put his head back and said, "But as you ask that question, what does success look like? The truth is, I don't even know what it feels like to be successful." As he shared this in the moment, I struggled to comprehend the statement made. My body went numb. I couldn't imagine a life without the feeling you have when someone says, "I'm proud of you." I just couldn't fathom someone never feeling a sense of accomplishment, never being told great job, never having a proud moment, feeling a sense of pride. Can you? Can you imagine not having that feeling that you had as I watched you enter the auditorium and take your seats? The feeling of excitement that comes from achieving a desired outcome? In order to get to this point and experience the feeling of success, I believe each of you encountered something that does not always get the credit it deserves. It is something that is easier to come by for some than others. It is something so precious and valuable, priceless. You all encountered love. Love was the key to your success and will continue to be. Love is a deliberate act of caring for. It is offered with the best intentions. Love is healing in every way possible. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 7 state, "Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres." To that end, love is encouraging. It is because of the love that each of you have worked immensely hard and have achieved great things. It is because of you that each of you, it is because of love that each of you feel what it is like to be successful, and it drives you to exceed expectations, to not let your loved ones down, to triumph even when the outcome looked bleak, to make good decisions when taking the shortcut was much easier, to be victorious though the path to getting there at times seemed unbearable. You are here. You are medical students who will be pediatricians, primary care physicians, and specialists, such as neurologists in a few more years. You are soon to be professors and philosophers of science. You are researchers who will be change makers. You are social workers who will create pathways for much needed resources. You are lawyers who will fight for justice, healthcare administrators whose decisions will save lives. You are politicians creating policy and law. You are soldiers protecting our freedom. You are here and your time is right now. You are loved, and because you are loved, if done right, true love is transactional. It goes beyond a feeling. It is a verb that suggests action. Love is not only something that is received, it is also given. It is wanting others to succeed, to be happy and fulfilled, just as someone wanted it for you. So I say to you, your greatest love story is being written. I stand here acknowledging that you are indeed the author. My hope is that I give you food for thought. Where are you going to place your love? How are you going to take your gift and share it with humanity? In the words of Joe Madison, instead of simply passing the torch, how will you take your candle and light someone else's candle so that the world becomes a brighter place to live? How are you going to apply love to social change? Everyone has not experienced the thrill of victory or success, or maybe they have and just don't know it. To our graduates, you will be doctors. They will be your patients. Do you consider the chronic and private trauma that they have experienced and the impact that it has on their health? To the educators, they will be your students. Do you consider that before they can learn reading and arithmetic, they may simply need to eat a good meal, get sleep, and have fresh clothes? Do you give thought to how you address this with empathy and dignity so that you can get back to the business at hand? To the researchers, before coming up with possible solutions, do you consider the systems in place influencing the outcomes? To the policymakers, will you foster relationships with people who have different perspectives for greater insight? And to the mothers and fathers who will one day be, what is the family legacy you want your children to uphold? Love in a way that makes you think differently about how you show up in the world. And as a result, be a leader who acknowledges that everyone is an expert in their own right and can contribute because of their unique experiences and perspectives. With love, create a pathway for equitable opportunity, removing barriers that people face based on their race, ethnicity, or national origin, sex, and sexual orientation. Offer grace during someone's time of need. You must have the courage to act with empathy and humility. To do so means leading courageously. To lead courageously with all of your brilliance, unapologetically embrace self-care, above all else, because what you pour into you is what you will give out. We must deal with open-ended challenges, have flexibility, make decisions based on logic and reason, and yet venture into an experience without a prescribed message. Enjoy exploration. You have to be comfortable with uncharted territories. Leading with courage, you have to know who you are and your ability. You also have to know your limitations and when others are needed. Have authentic relationships across differences, and build trust. And most importantly, believe in yourself and in the mission that moves you to action. We must acknowledge when our thinking perpetuates behavior that prevents forward progress because it's easier, especially when we know in our heart that it is the right thing to do. We experience some of the most beautiful things life has to offer when we step out of our comfort zone and embrace love. Love for self, love for others, and love for humankind. And because the power of love takes you down paths and places you never imagined you'd go. If you ever find yourself sitting across from a 16-year-old male who was on life support and when well enough was immediately released to a detention center because of an alleged or proven wrongdoing, and he shares with you that he doesn't know what it feels like to succeed, your response will be a courageous one. You will know what to do and how to do it. How do I know? Because love is powerful. It allows us to truly see people and meet them where they are. And when we do, we are drawn to all the possibilities of what could be. It has the ability to alter the course from an unfavorable ending to one that emboldens positive change. So continue to love. Love hard. So hard that the love in you inspires others to lead differently, not simply passing the torch, but instead lighting candles of others so that the world becomes a brighter place to live, to work, to play, and to worship. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Thank you for this honor to share with you today. I am truly humbled to be a part of your special day.